Weapon cooldown time is dependent upon the type of weapon and can be discerned from the weapon's attributes, seen here. The higher the attack speed, the shorter the cooldown. The weapon cooldown indicator can be changed in your video settings from a meter directly below your crosshair to an icon in your hotbar if you prefer. As the cooldown on your attack wears off, the damage that the next attack will do increases. There are two kinds of damage that build during this period: physical damage and enchantment damage. The physical damage value of a weapon can be deduced from checking its attributes and subtracting the effect that any sharpness enchantments have on it. Physical damage starts at 20% of the weapon's max attack damage, but increases slowly and non-linearly in between attacks to full strength. Enchantment damage starts between 2 and 10% depending on the weapon type, but increases linearly as the cooldown charges. As a general rule, this means that if you're attacking at minimum cooldown, you are only doing a fifth of your weapon's physical damage and less than a tenth of the enchantment damage. However, some enchantments function independently of the cooldown, such as knockback and fire aspect. This means that an enemy will be repelled just as far and burn just as long whether you attacked at maximum or minimum cooldown. Critical strikes deal an extra 50% damage calculated before enchantments are applied, and only activate when the cooldown is almost finished. This damage multiplier does take into account potion effects, both positive and negative, and is rounded down to the nearest hit point. For example, an unenchanted stone axe at full cooldown deals 9 damage. Strength 2 gives an extra 6 damage for a total of 15 damage per strike. A crit with this setup would do 22 damage per strike, and it is only after this point that the enchantment damage is added on. Make sure to check the attributes of weapons. Some may have modified base damage or attack speed that substantially alter the way the weapon performs. The sharpness enchantment deals damage to all types of mobs, but at a low gain per level. The first level of sharpness adds 1 damage to all attacks, but all subsequent levels add merely a half point of damage. In contrast, Smite and Bane of Arthropods deal 2.5 damage per level to the respective enemy types. Bane of Arthropods also afflicts arthropods with slowness 4 with each hit, with duration increasing with each level. Sweeping Edge increases the damage of a sword sweep attack. Without the enchantment, mobs struck by only the sweep receive just 1 damage. But with the enchantment, a percentage of the damage done to the primary target is delivered to all mobs struck by the sweep. This includes enchantment damage, even if the enchantment would not normally deal increased damage to that mob. Unbreaking 1 effectively doubles the lifespan of a tool. Unbreaking 2 effectively triples it, and so on. In vanilla Minecraft, a different formula is applied to armor that causes unbreaking to be much less effective at increasing durability. Monumenta's plugins, on the other hand, cause armor to be unbreaking in the same way as tools in order to last much longer. When used for attacking mobs, swords and hoes take half as much durability damage as all other tools. So in terms of combat, an axe, shovel, or pick requires unbreaking in order to last as many hits as a sword or hoe. Much like the two kinds of weapon damage, there are two kinds of defense available to the player: armor and enchantments. Broadly speaking, each point of armor reduces incoming damage by a maximum of 4%, and is proportionally more effective against weaker attacks than powerful ones. Armor toughness is an attribute found on some pieces of equipment that gives armor greater protection against high damage attacks. After armor has applied its own reduction to incoming damage, enchantments are calculated. Each level of feather falling reduces fall damage by 12%. Each level of blast, fire, and projectile protection reduces their respective types of damage by 8%. And each level of protection reduces all types of damage by 4%. These reductions are added together across armor pieces, and each type of damage reduction is capped at 80%. Notably, fire protection also reduces the amount of time a player burns after being exposed to fire, and blast protection reduces the knockback from explosions. Several pieces of special gear have effects that only activate when they are held in either the offhand or the main hand. It may be useful to become familiar with the Switch Hands hotkey to take full advantage of these effects quickly. Thank you for watching.